Are the diagonals perpendicular?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you have right angles through the middle. And are the do the diagonals bisect opposite angles?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, how many lines of symmetry does a rhombus have? 2. Okay, the horizontal and the vertical. And how do we classify this figure again? Rhombus. It's a rhombus. Plural form is rhombi. Okay, so what is the difference between a rhombus and a rectangle?
All four sides are not right angles for the same.
Not all angles are right angles, and what else? Diagonals aren't congruent, and what else?
Diagonals bisect opposite angles.
The diagonals bisect opposite angles, and what else? What were you saying, Julie? All sides are congruent for rhombi, but not all sides are congruent for a rectangle. Okay? So those are the main differences between rectangle and rhombi. Okay, definition of rhombus is a parallelogram with 4 congruent sides. Okay, and our properties. Number 1, all sides are congruent. Two, diagonals are perpendicular. Which means they intersect at 90 degrees. 3, diagonals bisect opposite angles. And 4 are all the properties of a parallelogram. Okay, so on your pink sheet, fill in the column for rhombus. We're a little early, but that's okay. We'll do the theorems after. But fill in the category for rhombus. You should have 10 things again. Okay, here we go. Opposite sides parallel? Yes. Opposite sides congruent? Yes. All sides congruent? Yes. Consecutive sides congruent? Opposite angles congruent? Opposite angles supplementary? No. Consecutive angles are supplementary. Yes. Consecutive angles congruent? No. All angles right angles? Diagonals congruent? No. Diagonals perpendicular? Diagonals bisect each other? Diagonals bisect opposite angles? And form 2 congruent triangles? Yes. Okay, so for rhombi, we have 3 ways of proving a parallelogram is a rhombi. Sorry, is a rhombus. Okay, number 1, if a quadrilateral has 4 congruent sides, then it is a rhombus. Two, if the diagonals of a quadrilateral are what? Very good. Are perpendicular, then it is a rhombus. Three, if the diagonals bisect what? Very good. If the diagonals bisect the opposite angles, it is a rhombus. Okay, so time to put everything into practice. Okay, so number 1, Gary is a rhombus. Find YGA, RXY, and angle RAY. Okay, let's start with the first one, YGA. What would be the measure of angle YGA? What? Why 24?
Because the, what's it called, diagonal bisector.
Very good. The diagonal bisects all of your angles. Therefore, if it's one piece of that angle is 12, you just need to double it. So this whole angle is 24. It has to be 12 and 12 in order for it to be bisected. Okay? RXY. What would be the measure of RXY? 90 degrees. Why? Very good. Perpendicular. Your diagonals intersect and form right angles. And the last one, RAY. Oh, sorry, not this one. This little guy. So what is RAY? $78. How is it 78?
Subtract 24 from 180 and divide by 2. Or subtract 90 and subtract 12.
Okay, so look at one triangle. Shh, guys, you guys are way too chatty. Look at one triangle at a time. If I solve for all the angles within this triangle, I have 12, I have 90, and this one becomes 78. Okay, and then for the same reason as angle YGA, these are bisected. So if this piece is 78, this one has to be 78 as well. Okay, so that's again why you've got to memorize all of these good old properties. Alright, number 2. FGHK is a rhombus with diagonals meeting at 10. So draw a rhombus. All your sides are congruent. F, G, H. Okay. The diagonals meet at D. If FKD is 7x plus 10, and HKD is 4x plus 31, And the measure of FDG is 17y minus 12. Find the value of x and y. So somebody tell me something I can do. Somebody go. 17y minus 12 is equal to 90. And how do you know that? They're perpendicular lines. So all four of these angles in the middle are right angles. So add 12 to both sides. 17y equals 102. So what does y equal? 6. And this is because diagonals are perpendicular. Okay, somebody give me a different equation.
7x plus 10 equals 4x plus 31.
Very good. And why is that?
Because they're bisectors, so there should be some unit.
Oops. So what does x equal?
7.
Very good. And this is because diagonals bisect opposite angles. Questions on number 2? No? Okay, thanks. Okay, going on to number 3. Solve for all of your variables. Somebody tell me one they know. C is 90. And B is 51. Why is it 51?
Because it's perpendicular. 180 minus 90 minus 39.
Very good. So the sum of these angles need to be 180. So 51 and 39, and a right angle is 180. Okay, so what else?
A is 51.
A is also 51 degrees. Okay, how do you figure out what x is? Cosine of 39? Why cosine? Oh, okay, you're using this side? And this is x too? Okay, cosine of 39 equals x over 25. So 25 cos 39. What is it?
19.43.
Yes, 19.43. Are you in degree mode? Make sure you're in degree mode.
Meters.
Oh, meters, not even units.
Oh, that was good.
Nice. Okay, next one. ABCD is a rhombus. Draw your rhombus. AB is y squared. BC is y plus 30. Find CD. What do we know? All your sides are congruent. So y squared equals y plus 30. Y squared also equals DC and AD. Okay, so good old quadratic. Okay, you want to set everything equal to 0. Sophia, y squared minus y minus 30 equals 0. And then you need to factor. What are your factors of negative 30 that are going to add and give you negative 1? Negative 6 and a positive 5. You do this every day in Algebra 2. Every day. But like this is just like the basics. You do way more than just this. Okay, So what are your y values?
-5.
Y equals 6 or -5. Okay, anytime you have a negative solution, you need to test it and make sure that it works. Okay, so if I plug 6 in here, I know that 6 squared is 36 and 6 plus 30 is 36, so that works. If I plug in -5, -5 squared is 25, and y plus 30, or -5 plus 30 is also 25. So both of my solutions work, so the possible links for CD are what? 36 or 25 units. Okay, I know that there's going to be people in this very room that cross off -5 before they even try it. Do not get into the habit of crossing off negatives right away. The only time you cross them off is if it gives you a negative side link. Okay, otherwise you should not be crossing them off. Okay, number 5. What is the area of the rhombus below? So, for those of you that don't have your formula sheet, that's fine, but it is on there, so when you test, you will have it. But the area of a rhombus is 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Okay?
That makes sense.
1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Okay, so how can we go about calculating the area of this?
Use trig to find out the
Okay, very good. How do you, or why can you use trig?
Because you're given, if you have a side or a hypotenuse and you have an angle.
But what else? Because you can't just always use trig with triangles.
Oh, because it's a right angle.
Because it's a right triangle. Remember that these are right angles. Okay? If it is not a right angle, you cannot use trig. It only works with right triangles. Okay, so I'm just going to use two variables, x and y. I need the links of both of these. Okay, how am I going to figure out x? Sure. Cos 25 equals x over 5. She just found this missing angle right here, and that's adjacent over hypotenuse. How would you figure out y? Sine of 25 equals y over 5. So I have 5 cos 25 equals x, and 5 sine 25 equals y. Round to the nearest hundredth.
You're just solving for area, so it doesn't matter what
4.53 is x. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, that's why. You could use 65 and get the same answers. Okay, what about y? What is it? 2.11. Okay, so what is the length of one of my diagonals? 4.22, and the other diagonal?
9.02.
Perfect. Somebody do that in the calculator. What is it? 116, so 19.12. Okay, so again, Madeline just chose to use 25. You could have used 65. Okay, it would have been the same thing. Sine of 65 equals x over 5. Cos of 65 equals y over 5. You would have got the same exact answer. Okay, she just chose to solve for this unknown angle, and that's fine. questions on finding the area of a rhombus. Do not forget to do the 1/2. Okay, it's 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. We all know how much you guys forget to divide by 2 when finding the area of a triangle. Okay, so please don't forget to divide by 2 on rhombi either. Okay, number 6. Rhombus MNPQ has 2 diagonals that intersect at point R. So let's just draw our picture first. MRN is equal to x squared minus 7x plus 30. Find x. Okay, well, what do you know? Very good. This angle right here is equal to 90 degrees. So you have x squared minus 7x plus 30 equals 90. You always want to set equal to 0 when you have a quadratic. So I have x squared minus 7x minus 60 equals 0. Now I'm looking at the factors of negative 60 that are going to add and give me negative 7. Negative 12 and a positive 5. So x equals what?
12 or negative 5.
Very good. Since it just asked you to find x, you leave it at that. You don't have to substitute in because it just asked you for x. Yes.
In number 5, for the second triangle, the one that you're going to point 1 plus 1 equals 1. Which side is 25? Which change is 25?
This one?
No, the other side. The A2 side triangle.
This is 25, this is 25, this is 25, and that's 25. Oh, we're done. Okay. Let's see what we remember. Okay, don't look at your pink sheet and cheat. Okay. Hold on. Okay, going back to parallelograms. What are our 6 properties? It's on the opposite sides are parallel, Madeline. Consecutive angles are supplementary, Cliff. Opposite sides are congruent. Diagonals make 2 congruent triangles.
I think,
Diagonals bisect each other and... Did we already say that one? Opposite angles congruent? Okay, cool. Opposite angles are congruent. So you have opposite angles are congruent, opposite sides are congruent, opposite sides are parallel, diagonals bisect each other, consecutive angles are supplementary, and the diagonals form 2 congruent triangles. Okay, what were the 2 big ideas we added on to rectangles?
All angles are right angles.
All 4 angles are right angles and diagonals are congruent. Okay, done with rectangles. Now go back to your parallelograms and let's talk rhombi. Okay, what did we add to rhombi? We added 3 things.
all sides are congruent.
All sides are congruent.
Diagonals are perpendicular.
Diagonals are perpendicular.
Diagonals,
Opposite sides.
Diagonals
bisect opposite sides. Angles.
Opposite angles. Diagonals bisect opposite angles. Very good. Ashlyn.